Welcome back to Sunday Night Spookies, the podcast dedicated to exploring the mysterious and the spooky unknown. My name is Lex.
And I'm Sarah.
And this is episode 3.5.
Whatever we're going to call it. First of all, if you haven't listened to our episode titled We Regret to Inform You, I highly recommend you do. If you have no idea what's going on right now. And they're like, why are they uploading on a Wednesday? What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
It's a very stripped down version of it. Is we had a lot of camera issues. We no longer have a camera of worthy quality to use. And cameras are ungodly expensive.
Yep.
And it's just not in the cards for us right now. We tried. We looked into our options. And our options were to go into a lot of fucking debt.
Right. So we're taking a break from the YouTubes.
Yeah. And we're still going to upload on YouTube. Like, all the audio will still go up on the channel. But we're not going to film them. And if it happens later, if something miraculous happens in the future, we'll go back to filming. We're not opposed to it, but here we are.
Yeah, and in exchange for our lack of YouTube presence, we're doing an extra episode. So here we are on a Wednesday.
Yeah, on a Wednesday.
It's going to be a series. We don't know what it's going to be called yet.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to start with a W like Wednesday, because we have Sunday Night Spookies. We need something for Wednesdays, because we're like, this is going to be something that we uphold. And these types of episodes are just going to be whatever we want them to be. Like, they're still going to be in the realm of, like, weird, maybe spooky.
Like Wednesday morning weirdos.
Yeah, Wednesday morning weirds or something. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Then maybe we'll release it in the morning on Wednesday. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll just mess around with it.
But they're just going to be kind of whatever. And we've talked about, like, doing movie reviews or reading scary stories or just kind of whatever we're feeling that week.
Yeah.
These are not going to be as planned or as scripted or as researched and in-depth as our normal episodes. They're also not going to be as long as our normal episodes because it's kind of just like a shoot the shit episode,
Yeah.
So here we are. Here's the first one.
Yeah. And we're here.
So for the first one, her and I, like you're not here, you and I, hello.
Hey.
Join me in this episode. We're both really intrigued by missing person cases.
Oh, yeah.
And we have like an episode about the missing 411 coming up later in the season. But there's still a ton that aren't really like paranormal. Like the missing 411 is kind of paranormal. There's a lot of paranormal theories behind it.
Yeah.
But for the majority, there's some things that just kind of, there's some people that just disappear off the face of the earth. Mm-hmm. And that's
all
just
the
it.
time.
Yeah.
All the time.
And so we want to talk about them because we really like looking into them. It's freaking weird. And I've been tasked with the first one. So how we're going to do this one is I have a missing persons that we're going to discuss. And you've never heard of this person. You don't know the story.
No.
And we're going to catch your genuine reaction. So we're going to talk about Emanuela Orlandi. And this one's really interesting because it involves the Pope. And I was like, let's go. This is interesting. Like, the Pope is involved.
Yeah, if the Pope is involved, it's like real shit.
Right. So Emanuela was a 15-year-old girl in 1983. She lived in Vatican City in central Rome. Her dad, there's like so many different stories. Her dad worked for like the bank in Vatican City or something. Her family worked for Vatican City. And her brother, she was number 4 of 5 kids. And her brother basically described it as it just being a village that like 6 or 7 families at a time it just lived there. They were all kind of family. They all kind of like all the kids had the run of the place. Like some of the kids described like just going and hanging out in the garden whenever they wanted to. It was kind of like chill.
Okay.
And for it being the Vatican City, I was kind of surprised to hear that it's like, it's just a village. We all live here. We all know each other. It's fine. Like, okay. So in 1983, like I said, she was 15. She was in her sophomore year at Liceo Scientifico, which was a special kind of high school in Rome that basically prepared the kids specifically for higher education. Like, obviously, they did all the normal high school stuff, but it, like, what I was reading about it, it was all very much geared toward you're going to move on into school, and that's how you're going to do that type thing. On most accounts, she led a pretty relatively normal life growing up. Nothing was weird. Like her brother said, it was all like close knit, the 6 families, whatever. And On June 22nd, 1983, Emanuela had a flute lesson at Pontifical Sacred School of Music. I don't know if I'm saying any of these names right. So just bear with me, you know?
Probably Pontificial, something like that.
Something Italian.
Who knows? I don't speak Italian.
It's fine. So on this day, she went to her music lessons. She normally took the bus there. This music school was just a little bit away from her high school. It was a short bus ride, only a few bus stops, and then she had a short walk to the school. And this was her flute lesson. So she played the flute. I've always wanted to play the flute. I never was able to. I had to play the clarinet in high school.
I played the clarinet too. I could not play the flute.
I couldn't either.
I don't know if I had like weird lips or something, but I could not do it.
I bet I could now. Now that I'm like a singer and have like special breath control, I bet I could. I gotta get me a flute.
I really wanted to play the drums in high school.
Me too.
Tangent. But I have zero ability to do two different things with my hands.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is as a musician, you'd think I'd have rhythm. I don't. I'm constantly writing counts on my music all the time. I will never get away from it. So she went to her lessons on this day, and it's important to note that she was late to her lesson. And after her lesson, she called her sister and told her the reason she was late was because she met up with a Avon representative, like Avon Cosmetics, in 1983. This was booming, who offered her a job. And so she was late because she was meeting with this Avon rep, talking about a job.
Okay.
Which,
I mean, back then that was probably a thing that like really happened. Like my mom had an Avon lady in my lifetime.
oh yeah, my grandma did. My mom did because my mom was never like really into makeup.
I
But
think my mom's Avon lady ended up working at Meyer or something. Maybe when Avon fell through, who knows?
poor Avon lady. Working at Meyer. Not that for any of you working at Meyer, it's like a bad thing.
Right.
But I think, I just remember like growing up, the Avon ladies had this like air about them. You know what I mean? Like they were just like, I'm an Avon rep. So I can like imagine if she's like an old cranky lady, her ending up at like
It's like
a
how
cashier.
Mary Kay ladies are now.
Ugh. Or unique, whatever it's
Unique,
called.
whatever,
I
yeah.
hate that. Don't,
We're fine.
I just hate. Don't come up to me and rub things on my hands. Get out of here.
Absolutely not.
I hate that. Anyway, so she was caught up with this Avon rep, and I thought it was kind of weird, like as I was doing the research, that, because it doesn't say she had a meeting with her, it just said that she ran into her. Like, this Avon lady, like, sought her out.
That sounds like some human trafficking
Yeah,
situations.
that's what I thought.
Like you're at the store or something and somebody's like, oh wow, you look good about this or whatever. Like I don't know, like
You look so beautiful. Why don't you
like
be an Avon rep?
Yeah, you're so pretty. You should definitely sell makeup.
Yeah, like that's
Come
what I
into
thought.
my white van in the parking lot and I'll show you how to do it.
I'll show you all my Avon catalogs.
That's what that reminds me of.
Oh yeah, me too. That's my first thought. So she called her sister, told her about the Avon rep. She was very excited that she was offered a job at Avon. And I don't know if she was like given like contact information, or at 15, if you were just offered a job, you'd think, oh, they're gonna get a hold of my parents or something. Like you wouldn't really think to like grab contact information from somebody. And she never had that. Like no one found who this Avon rep was even. It's unknown. You have no idea.
I kind of feel like there wasn't an Avon rep.
Yeah.
Maybe not
or
a
if it
real
was a
Avon.
fake Avon rep.
Not a real Avon rep.
She also was seen after her lesson walking to the bus stop that she goes home at, talking to one of her girlfriends about this Avon job. She was very excited about it.
Okay.
So she's talking to this girl, and then it was seen by other people that the friend walked away with another friend, and Emanuela was left at the bus stop. Never saw again. Gone.
Okay.
No contact, no sight, nothing. She just disappeared from this bus stop.
Okay.
At 15 after her music lesson. So at 3 p.m. that day, her parents called the director of music, like, hey, where's my kid? Basically. Because they hadn't heard from her. She hadn't come home. No one had seen her. No one had any information. None of the employees knew anything. They just knew that, no, she went home. You know, she left the building and went to the bus stop like normal.
Okay.
So no one had any leads. And it was kind of like under wraps for a few days. And the first, like, clue happened on Saturday. At 7 p.m., a young man known as Pierre Luigi called the family and said that him and his fiancée had saw Emanuela near a town plaza in central Rome that was just outside the Vatican. He mentioned that she'd been carrying a flute, she was wearing glasses, It was important that Emanuela did have glasses, but she hated wearing them. She never wore them. It was like something that she hated doing. She had a flute. She was wearing glasses. And she introduced herself as Barbarella, saying that she had just run away from home and she was hoping to sell some Avon products to earn some extra money. Weird. Could not trace this girl down. After they had that one phone call, no leads from that whatsoever. That was kind of it. On June 28th, a man named Mario called the family, claiming he owned a bar that was located between the high school and the School of Music. He said that he saw a girl named Barbara who came into the bar and confided with him that she'd run away from home, but she was planning to return for her sister's wedding on the 30th, just like 2 days later. On the 30th, over 3,000 posters were plastered all over the Vatican in central Rome to try to find this girl. I couldn't find if her sister actually had the wedding. I think if my sister disappeared, I would postpone the wedding.
Yeah, maybe.
I think I would push that back.
But also, if you're getting married in the Vatican,
maybe you can't get rid of that.
What are you? Where are you? You're not postponing a few months. You're postponing years, probably.
Probably, yeah. She was never seen on the 30th. She never showed back up. On Sunday, July 3rd, Pope John Paul is now introduced. Pope John Paul II. Sorry, excuse me. He addressed those responsible for Emanuela's disappearance during a Catholic devotion ceremony. And the name was extremely long and complicated, and so I wasn't even going to try. It's a devotion ceremony where there's lots of prayers held. A ton of prayers are held. And he basically brought up a prayer for Emanuela. And he was the first person to say she was kidnapped. He insinuated in his prayer or in his addressment, if that's not a word, I just made it up.
I think you made it up, but that's fine.
Copyright, don't steal it. That she was kidnapped. This is where things get really freaking weird.
Okay.
So 2 days after he addressed the issue as a kidnapping, the family received the first of many super weird phone calls claiming that Emanuela was being held captive by a terrorist group with the demand that a Turkish terrorist assassin who actually shot and wounded the Pope 2 years earlier, the same Pope, be released. And that's why she was being held, because they wanted his releasement from prison, and you can get the girl if she's released.
Okay.
The next few phone calls were a little bit more concerning, naming the men Mario and Pierre Luigi from earlier in the story, that they had been part of the organization as a way to get to the family.
Well, no shit.
Yeah.
It's very convenient that they found a Barbarella or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
And she's suddenly wearing glasses and also has a flute
and also
is selling Avon products. Just very convenient. I just don't. You're telling me she started selling Avon products the day that she met with the Avon lady?
It was, I think, 2 days later. The next day.
Likely.
Yeah. So after that, an American man now started calling the family, claiming that he was involved.
Of course he did.
And that he had handwritten notes, school IDs, personal things from her. And at this point, it was kind of taken to the court and things were being looked at. Obviously, it's a missing persons case. Yeah. And it was all found that these were not real documents, or they were dismissed as not actual things.
Some weird international mafia or something.
Right. So that's kind of the story. The phone calls eventually died down. None of it was proven. The Turkish terrorist lead, none of that was proven. So I'm not going to get into some of the major theories because they're shorter episodes. We're not going to dive deep and do all this research. But some of the theories that are present is that the terrorists do have her, or they did have her and killed her because they didn't get their demands. That she was taken by terrorists, but is now living a full Muslim life, normally, as a normal Muslim woman would.
Okay.
Or that some sleazy priest in the Vatican took her for sex parties and then murdered her when he was done.
Okay.
Those are the three most recognized theories.
I don't even know which one I think is the true one. I mean, something's up, right? Like, obviously, what was his name? The Luigi guy and the other guy, the bar guy.
Yeah, Mario.
Like, obviously they have something to do with it. And the American guy, unless he's just being annoying, because we know how they are. I'm just kidding. Sort of.
I'm not kidding.
But like Mario and Luigi. Are you joking?
Pierre, Luigi, and Mario. I mean, those are very, very, very common Italian names.
Okay.
But
could somebody look up when they made Mario and Luigi? Like, look it
let's
up.
do it. Hey Siri. When was Mario first invented? She's not gonna know what I'm talking about.
Okay. I found this on the web for when was Mario first invented. Check it out.
The history of Mario. Let's find out.
So while you were doing that, you glance. I don't understand how. Like, obviously they have something to do with it. Otherwise, there'd be no point in them calling.
Mario first appeared in 1981 in the arcade game Donkey Kong.
Oh, interesting. It's very convenient that it was Mario and Luigi's all.
Yeah.
But like, obviously they had something to do with it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have gone out of their way to contact the family in a way that is just like to cover it up. So they have there's a connection to them somehow, whether or not they're related to some kind of weird like Turkish terrorist group or not. I don't know.
My thought after reading all this was basically, I thought it was very, very, very interesting that none of this came forth until after the Pope had mentioned kidnapping. Because up until then, it was kind of like, okay, maybe she ran away. There was no missing person, like kidnapping case going on until the Pope had mentioned it. And because he was shot and wounded by a Turkish terrorist 2 years earlier, I wonder if they saw the broadcast or they heard of the Pope talking about it and then came up with this big elaborate thing.
Could be.
I don't know. I just think, and her remains have never been found. She's never been found. She just disappeared from this bus stop one day.
So weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I liked it because the Pope was involved and Turkish terrorists were mentioned. Like, that just seems like the Pope was involved. Like,
yeah.
It's just, and the fact that nothing was ever really done about it.
Right.
Nothing. Like, they
dismissed
dismissed
you really
the Turkish
can't
thing.
even do anything about it if you can't.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I guess there's only so much you can do, I guess, right? Like, I feel like they could have definitely looked into this Turkish mafia, terrorist group, whatever.
Yeah.
And found out a little bit more about that. And
it's also weird that she disappeared. I guess she wasn't inside the Vatican when she disappeared, but pretty close to the Vatican. Mm-hmm. And it was a family that lived in Vatican City.
But then another question is, if like what they say is true and that like they wanted to release the assassin guy, why her?
Yeah.
Why, you know
why her?
Like, why her?
Because she
why
wasn't...
not like a figure, like the daughter of like some important religious figure in the Vatican? Or
That's
like...
what I thought too. Like, it's just because the reports say that her dad was either a banker or, I don't even want to say like blue collar, but not super important.
Right.
He wasn't part of like the Pope's men. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't really know what you...
what do you call them? I don't know. He wasn't like a high ranking guy in society, probably. Like
No.
did okay, but wasn't like the guy that he wasn't like the guy that you give like a blackmail letter to or like a ransom letter
Right.
to.
Like, he was just a normal guy.
Right.
That happened to work in the Vatican.
Weird.
Very weird. Mm-hmm. So if you want to like look into that, you can. Like I said, there's some really wild theories behind it. Like the priest sex party theory actually had like it was like a wormhole I could have gone down. There was names and there was other girls and there was like all those things. And you know what? Not all that unlikely.
Yeah.
But I don't know if this is the case.
Probably
did
not.
That.
It didn't. That theory doesn't do anything for me.
Me either.
No. So if you want to dive down that rabbit hole, by all means, go for it.
Go for it. I'm not gonna because it's weird.
Yeah.
And it might be a little too sensitive for me.
Yeah, I get it. So yeah, let us know what you think.
Yeah, and if you have an idea for what we're gonna call this little series,
yeah, Wednesday,
please let us know.
They're coming out on Wednesday, so like I kind of want the word Wednesday in it because Sunday Night Spookies. That's who we are.
Yeah. But days of the week are like
it's like our thing.
Partial to us.
Right. So I don't know. Let us know what you think. If you have any ideas for Wednesday episodes, like anything that's like not quite like ghostly or paranormal, but just kind of like
fucking weird, man.
Weird or on the mysterious side, let us know on any of our social media sites. We are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Sunday Night Spookies, and on Twitter at Sunday Spookies.
We also have some links in our description box. One is for Buzzsprout. If you'd like to start your own podcast, it's actually kind of fun. It's a lot of work, but it's pretty rewarding. You can use our link and get a free Amazon gift card, which is pretty nifty. We also have a link for Instacart if you'd like to get your groceries delivered to you. I highly recommend it. I hate grocery shopping. I don't like the people. It's busy. It's loud. I always spend too much money. So if you'd like to get your groceries delivered, you can use our link and get free delivery on your first order of $30 or more. We also have a Cash App link where you can kindly donate to us if you'd like. Running a podcast and going on investigations can get kind of pricey. So if there's like a location you'd particularly like us to visit, you can throw some cash our way. Everything is highly appreciated. We by no means, you don't have to donate. Everything you give us goes right back into giving more and better content to you guys. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, rate us on Apple Podcasts. It really doesn't matter what the hell you say in the review of Apple Podcast. You could tell me what color underwear you're wearing. Or what food makes you gag. I don't really care. As long as you give us 5 stars. It'd be
so weird if people go to read our ratings and they're like...
That's make it weird, guys.
Like spaghetti?
Go to our Apple ratings, in your purple icon app, whatever. Go to Apple Podcasts and just leave the weirdest reviews. Because look, think about how if I went to a podcaster page and looked at the reviews and people were like, my underwear is blue, spaghetti makes me throw up, I'd be like, I gotta listen to this, you know? Rate me 5 stars and tell me what color your underwear is.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Sunday Night Spookies.
Join us next week for our episode about haunted phone numbers.
New episodes are released every Sunday and Wednesday evening. Thank you so much for listening, and as always, stay spooky.